What's up guys, this is Cher talking, welcome back to my channel. In today's video let's talk about Super Combat Training. This new event related to SaGa Scarlet Grey spinners is one of the best ones we ever got, but there are some things to discuss. First of all, this event here has characters featured from SaGa Scarlet Greys. They are not that plenty, so you also be getting status boosters. You can use those to increase the status gains to 3 times. This can help you. You can still keep farming the threat from the depths till it ends, because here you can get platinum tickets and gold pieces, and then move to the combat training event. Here we have plenty of good things on the shop. As you can see, there is a new double S weapon called Vanisher. It starts with 24 weapon power, so it can be useful for the Master Stone. Then this new staff that has water and wind element made for Elise if you summon for her, but even if you don't, just get it, it's easy. Then there's the S version of Mondo that just helps him get this counter mechanic with Windmill Plus if you summon it for Mondo, but even if you did not, Mondo is still another character to try and get some gens out of it. Then Urpina has a new S style with her Rising Nova Plus. This makes many versions of Urpina now capable of helping out against some hard challenges where bosses keep buffing themselves. Rising Nova Plus is used in these situations to break bonus from bosses. Okay, and then the usual pieces for the new characters. There's also Platinum Pickaxes. Well, if you are a newcomer, it's good to invest in the weapon type that you have the biggest number of characters. Then Sword, Staff, Great Sword, Martial Arts are good investments as well. Okay, with all that said, let's move on to the event. So this event here has not many stages. It actually has 3 different stages for 4 different types. The 3 physicals, Slash, Blunt, Pierce, and then in the end we have the elemental type that they call Spell. Here we have a different rule. On stages with only one enemy, they will give you 20 BP on start, as you can see here. Certain battle quest starts with 20 BP. And it will also have a very fast way to level up skills. I think it's even faster than Seeker's Path. That's the feeling I'm getting. And then you'll be able to get the drops to purchase things on the shop. Another thing, when running the event, you can get pieces for the welfare version of Antonius. That is actually pretty strong, and I'll even make a video on this guy because he can be used on Final Island and in some events as well, especially if you got his platinum style that complements this version. Now, let's talk about the farming. We will ignore this column and row stages and focus on the single one. Why? Because here you can solo easily with plenty of different characters. But now let's discuss what you want to get from the event. If you are a veteran with your skills trained, you don't need to train skills, right? You should be just aiming for status. Then you should place your nuker on a back row and then attack with the 4 frontal characters and train their skills. Since you start with 20, you can increase the 3rd skill and try to use the 2nd skill on the 2nd wave, for example. But I am focusing on the damage dealers here. If you want skill training, place your nuker on the back. If you want status training, place your nuker on the front line. Okay, so let's start talking about the farming. I'll be using Magia fight formation for most setups, and the first one brings Roufas in the front line with Gun and Blade. He can use this on the slash single target stage or also on the blunt one, but you should focus on the slash since this is the biggest damage that you can achieve. Okay, so Roufas is kind of fast. You will not see that many combos, especially with Magia fight being used. He gets paralyzed, but it doesn't matter because on the 2nd wave he's cleansed, and with the Remembrance weapon he's doing 300,000 damage. They seem to have 180,000 HP, so focus on doing that amount of damage and you will be safe with solo farming. The 2nd strategy brings the latest version of Albert. He's a beast, he deals a lot of damage, you don't even need a Remembrance weapon. I'm bringing the Sword Master Stone in a double S weapon, it's just damage enough to solo farm. Just leave that fork on 13, he's gonna get some BP by killing the enemy and he can use the same skill twice. Now let's see how much damage we get with Albert in a common double S weapon with the Sword Master Stone. He only needs 3 hits. He can do 5. So it's way too much. Even a weak weapon will just be enough. Both enemies have the same amount of HP. Another character works for the slash stage, but even for the blunt one, is the last version of Ellen that can use axes. She has this attack called a Deadly Spin, and she gets 1 BP back when she attacks, so she can attack on both waves, and the damage will be good enough to kill the enemies. I think this attack animation is not too slow, so it's a good idea to train Ellen. 193,000, so I needed a strong weapon here. I think I have a 96% weapon. Now, the next character is Silver. It can be any of the premium versions of Silver. I was even using my Summer style to try to get more agility, since that's where she gets more. And just inherit Vandalize Plus. This comes from her Platinum style, Shoe Amplify. This is a new skill that attacks 3 times with B power. It's enough to kill the enemies with a 90% weapon for sure. So it's also a good time to level the skill to max. Well, to be sure, all versions of Silver will work in the different stages. Vandalize will allow you to farm this Slash Weak. Halloween, Silver can also farm the Slash Weak. And the Global X and UDX can farm the stage that has enemies weak to elemental attacks. The last character for Slash will be Urpina. Madeline works just the same, it's just that I do believe more people will have Urpina by now. And you just have to inherit Cross Break from her with the X style, and depending on the version of Urpina that you're using, you have to change the PP cycle so that it's the costlier skill that you're gonna use. Well, let's see how much damage we get over Urpina. This is the second Global X style. Well, much more than we needed. But of course I'm using the Remembrance's Word. You need a very strong Forged one if you don't have. Now let's move into the Blunt Weak stage, and here we can bring one very common character, Leon. And you can even do something here. If you have the 2 versions of Leon, you can kill the first enemy with full powered shot, and then the second enemy with anti-material shot. It's even faster this way. But if you have the Remembrance Gun, you can do with just anti-material shot. Okay, let's see how much we get from full powered shot. I have a character in the back row debuffing endurance, so we're getting a little more damage because of that. But broke 240,000. Now anti-material shot, dealing 190. These enemies have 180,000. If you don't have the Remembrance Gun, the chase attack will be triggered, but will kill the enemy the same. Now, the next one brings Hurricane instead of Magia Fight because it's better for martial artists. And I brought Coppelia. If you are using the martial arts version of Silver, you should use this formation as well. But here we can bring Destruction Doll Dance Plus. It's an Amplify. I'm using the Platinum version of Coppelia. She will do enough damage if you have a strong weapon. In this case, I'm bringing a 99% one with the best equipment for martial arts at the current time. Okay, let's see how much damage we get here. 244k. Enemies have 180. So it's a Platinum style. Of course, I have increased all of her hidden status. I have been training Coppelia, but I guess even no optimal teams will be able to farm the same. Okay, now let's move to the Pierce Weak stage. In here, we have plenty of options as well. If you have Thiago Lisboa from the banner, he can do the same thing as Darque can. Well, in this case, I'm using the Global X Darque because he has this attack that is extremely strong, and it's called Instant Kill. And then he can use this again because of the BP, and let's go. Okay, let's see how much damage. This weapon has 99% damage increase. It's overkill. Yes, 197 needs 180, so I guess that a weapon with 80 to 90% damage will be enough. Okay, another very strong pierce damage dealer is Claudia, and I'm even talking about the Global Axe because of the BP cycle, but you need Reverie shot. That should also work in her UDX style. Okay, let's go, Claudia. Well, that was 210,000 on average. This weapon has 102 damage increase. So a 90% should work, I guess. Oh, in this case, the enemy attacked before Claudia. Okay, let's move to the spell stage. In here you can bring Jo. If you want, you can bring the Sparkly Nice attack, where she would just use 2 fast attacks that will just be very nice. But then you can also use something else, Spectacle Portal, with her 3rd style, or with the Jo Robin version as well. It's usually easy to use Jo because she had a forging weapon, so, well, many people will have her weapon maxed. You see that she's doing even more than Claudia. But I do have a perfect weapon for Jo. I suspect an 80% one will be enough. Sparkly Nice is much stronger, it requires even less. Now, there is an old character that works again, but he attacks 2 times, I think it's kinda slow. But UDX Bertrand, he gets VP when he kills, and he was also a character with a forged weapon available. So Dry Slot will hit the weaknesses of the enemies with the 1st and 2nd hit, and that will give enough damage to kill. Okay. The first hit will do around, I don't know, 100,000. The second 126, so much more than we need. If you have this version of Bertrand, you can do this as well. Well, this will be the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Hope this can help you. If you have different strategies, please share here on the comment section or on the Reddit post. And I hope to see you soon in the next video. Bye.